Yeah,
I've got a fiance I'm similarly in love with.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's rare, dude. It's such a rare vibe when you
Yeah.
meet someone that not only you're like you really love and you're really passionate about, but someone you really fucking like. And that's,
Yeah.
I mean, I've been married twice before, you know, and the first time we were young, the second time was a horrible mistake. But, and I honestly, after that divorce, I basically was like, that's it. I'm never even fucking considering this shit. And then I met the love of my life. It was, and it came out of nowhere. So
Yeah,
it's special.
That's one of the questions I wanted to ask you when I was driving here is like, how important is it to find that special someone? Because probably in your 20s or 30s, it's like you have a band member that's like in a toxic relationship and they're outside the studio arguing with them, and they come in and it's like their head's not into it. Like it's really important to have somebody like that in your life. I mean,
not only that, but somebody that you can feel supportive of as well, man. You know what I'm saying? Because you want to support them, especially when they're supporting you as much as possible. Like you want that yin and yang, and it's, I don't know what the fuck it is, but it's very rare, man. And when you find somebody like that, you need to hold on to them.
But how'd you know she was the one?
I knew when the first time she told me exactly what she fucking felt, and she wasn't being mean. Let's put it that way. My wife is one of the smartest people I know, and she's also very forthright, and she's never going to scream at you about anything. My wife's never screamed at me. But she's going to let me know her opinion. And 9 times out of 10, her common sense defeats my mammalian ego lizard shit, and I have to sit back and go, fuck, you know?
Fuck, she's right.
And she's always nice about it. And that's what kills me. It's like, could you just be a dick for a second? Just give me that. And she's like, nope, we're just going to have this conversation, and I'm going to leave it with you, and then you let me know what you think.
Just sets
and I just kind of,
boundaries.
and I sit, and I give it about 10 minutes. I go, fuck, you're right. And as a man, that's hard.
Sure.
But once you realize that it's not an offense to you as a person, she's just trying to show you where you may be mistaken and a better way to do it. It's like, it's not necessarily that she wants you to be wrong. She just wants you to both do what's correct, not even right, man, you know? So there have definitely been times where I haven't talked to her about certain shit, and I've just made decisions because I'm a man, and sometimes I am rash, you know? And she goes, you need to fucking talk to me about some of this shit, because some of it's blown back on me quite badly. And I'm just like, oh, fuck.
Steve, you could talk about that.
I can relate to all of it.
Yeah, I mean, what's been the difference in your and Luck's relationship? Because you guys have always had an upward trajectory, but I feel like in the last year and a half, it's kind of gone upward even more so. What's changed?
I think that the first important piece is that for me, it wasn't about finding the right person nearly as much as it was about becoming the right person.
Right, and that's a big part of it, exactly.
Right, I would have been absolutely useless to Lux if I hadn't put in the work preemptively to learn how to be in a healthy relationship.
Right.
And that took a lot of work. I had a lot of,
stuff to clean up.
A lot of stuff to clean up.
So you kind of got to be ready to meet the right person.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
it's always when you least expect it too, man. You know, like when I was, before my wife and I actually even got together, we had met, and there was definitely something there. And I told her, I was like, I'm not in a spot to be in a relationship at all.
How
man.
come?
Because I had a lot of damage.
Scar tissue.
Oh, dude, it was holding me together. That's all I had, man. Like I was psychologically, emotionally, physically fucked up about it. Like I was a physical manifestation of all the stress and toxicity that I dealt with.
Like childhood trauma or past relationships?
Past relationship. That relationship, my previous marriage.
The second marriage. And did the second marriage ending coincide with sobriety?
No. I was sober through the whole thing, which
wow.
which meant I lived it hard.
Felt
and
every feeling.
Dude, it was in my skin.
Wow.
It was in my, and I had a lot of shit happen to me kind of all at once. I had my spinal injury happen where I had to have spinal surgery. So I couldn't work out. So I couldn't be physical. I was still imbibing a shit ton of calories, but I wasn't able to burn it and work it. Mm-hmm. Her and I's relationship was at an all-time low. We were working tirelessly. I'm definitely not the easiest person to live with. Neither is she. I'm not, it takes two, you know what I mean? So I'm not gonna lay everything at somebody's feet. Mm-hmm. But there was definitely, the pure hardest truth is we weren't meant to be together. And it was kind of like that from the beginning, but in the beginning, you don't really pay attention to anything. You don't listen to the signs. And things just progress. By that time you're married. By that time you're like that. There's that thing in you from Iowa that's like, okay, just maybe this is just how it is. Let's just make it work. Stoicism, all that shit. Instead of really listening. So by the time I got out of that relationship, I didn't even look like myself. If I showed you pictures, you'd be like, oh my God, it's tough.
Red hair and all that.
No, I've long shitty hair.
Then you looked 50.
I looked like I was pushing 60, man.
Yeah.
I was bad. I was overweight. You could see it like in my skin, dude. I just looked fucked up, and I wasn't drinking. I wasn't doing drugs. I wasn't doing anything, man. But I looked like it, which was crazy. And that's when her and I started talking, because I hit her up about opening a Stone Sour tour, because I was putting a tour together, and I wanted to do something different. Her group, the Cherry Bombs, are amazing. Like there's like this Cirque type dance troupe that does fire with heavy metal music. They do aerial. They do it all. It's fucking rad. And she's a superhero, man. And we really hit it off. And I had to be brutally honest with her. I was just like, I'm not even close to having processed this. And because I was just on a crazy wormhole of like kind of self-disgust, trying to figure out what even made me happy, man, And it wasn't until I kind of pulled my head back up and took a breath, and it was just like, man, I'm still miserable. So something's not right, And I started working on myself. Luckily, by that time, we were on tour together, and she and I, she was still hurting from the fact that I'd said no, but she was still one of the few people that I really wanted to talk to, because I respect her so much, So one thing led to another. We started talking again, and she laid it out for me. She's like, the choices that you're making in your life are gonna bite you in the ass. You need to figure out why you're miserable, and you need to figure out how to make yourself fucking happy again. You need to get back to that point. And she's always been the person to put it in perspective for me, and without any thought of herself, to be honest. Like, she's just like, listen, forget it's me. Just tell me what you're feeling, and tell me what's up, so you can start to kind of figure out how to get back to a place where you feel good again, man. And then one thing led to another, and I just realized, I was like, I don't want to live the rest of my life. I don't want to live one more fucking day without her. And as soon as we waited until the tour was done, and we've been together ever since. And and the crazy thing is that I can actually relate to that song more today than I did when I wrote it, because that song is very much about that melancholy vibe you get when you're feeling physical depression and you just need to get yourself out. You just need to get yourself up and move through air, feel something in life, get in your fucking car and drive. You're not going anywhere. You just need a reason to be in your car and listen to the radio, other than just sitting in your driveway like a psychopath. It's like, I'm just going to drive. I'm going to put on some shit. I'm going to stare into the dark, and I'm going to allow myself to feel this shit. But I'm not going to, I don't want to feel like I'm just putting my back against the world so I can feel it rotate. I need to move. I need to do something. And that's what that song is about. It's about kind of talking it out. It's a conversation in your own head where you're just like, okay, I know that I'm going to have to deal with this for a few days. I know that at some point it's going to lift that physical depression and I'm going to be okay. But in this moment, I need to ease back. I need to hold down the anxiety. I get very anxious when I know that it's coming. And just prepare myself for the fact that for 3 days I'm going to feel physically numb and I'm not going to be able to relate to anybody. Mm-hmm. And it's actually easier today because my wife actually understands. Like it's the first time that any of my spouses have really understood what I go through. And it's because I've described it to her and I tell her, and I was like, listen, when this comes on, it's not you. It has nothing to do with you. I don't control this. This is just something that, for whatever reason, just happens to me. And I will not feel like myself. I will feel like someone holding up it's that commercial, that they're holding up the cardboard face and they're just kind of hiding behind it. Mm-hmm. That's literally what it feels like. And it's like, do you have to understand it's not you? I just need you to be patient and I need you to be supportive and we'll be okay. And she's like, done. And ever since then, I've never feared having that happen to me again because I know my wife has my fucking back. And I've never felt that in my life, dude. It's incredible.
What do you do if that happens to you when you're about to go on stage or like?
When I'm on the road, because I've been so good at leaning into it and going through the motions, it's easier to feel something when you're in that moment because it's such a shock to the system. Whenever you're in front of an audience, there's so much energy that's going to happen. So regardless of when you're feeling, basically you're sucking up theirs to kind of get through your own. You know what I mean? Luckily, it's never been debilitating in that point. But I will say this, when I get off stage, it's almost like I'm extra empty because I give so much. Yeah. Oh, dude, it's crazy. Yeah. Man. I've literally had moments in hotel rooms where I say to myself, it's like I can't even lay on the bed. I have to lay on the floor and I have to make myself do this because my body is just making me need it. So I lay down and I just stare up there and I lay there until I'm ready to get up. And because I allow myself to make that decision, it helps me lean into it and embrace it and not look at it as something negative, just something that's in my life, It's fucking, I don't know if that's the right way to do it, but that's what's worked for me so far.